My friend coming out to me has been one of the worst experiences I've ever had. My best friend T, 30 male, and I, 32 female, have known each other for about 10 years now. We met through mutuals, and shortly after our friendship took hold, I went through a very traumatic event in my life, as I was assaulted by my ex-boyfriend. He went to jail for it, and my life was in shambles. I was a broken human being, and T was there for me. Held my head up when all I wanted to do was die. Got me through some of the darkest days of my life. Fast forward to about 2 or 3 years ago, T confided in me that when we met, the reason he started talking to me more in the first place is because he overheard me telling a friend of ours about an argument I had with a coworker involving trans rights. Basically, I told the coworker to stop being an asshole. I don't even remember this happening, but it stood out to T apparently. He was drawn to my compassion for the community. And after telling me that, he told me he enjoys cross-dressing. I had no idea, but was like, oh, cool. So are you trans? Gay? What do I call you? What's your shoe size? And he said, no, I just like to cross-dress is all. I like high heels. So I said slay and went about our business. That was it. Now, I'm not a girly woman by any means. I don't know how to coordinate an outfit. I don't know what shoes work with what ponytail. I'm not the one to go to for that type of stuff. See what I'm saying? I just exist in my band shirts and skinny jeans. But ever since he came out to me, our friendship has absolutely deteriorated. He constantly begs for reassurance from me. He needs to hear me say or read a text that I support him. How many times do I really need to repeat myself? Really? We often fight, him telling me I'm going to change my mind about trans people someday. He told me he isn't trans, mind you. So I'd stay confused, that I am susceptible to propaganda from media I don't even consume. Deep in my heart, I must hate him, that he probably disgusts me. This always comes out so randomly. I get blindsided. My issue is, in my world, actions mean a hell of a lot. I've bought him so much stuff to wear. I've watched as he does his fashion shows. I've advocated for him to be himself in front of our other friends as well. And yet, when he is feeling insecure, he lashes at me. I constantly feel like I am under attack or under a microscope while I'm just existing in this life. I'm tired of defending myself out of the blue all the time. I can't be responsible for his emotional well-being at every turn. When he hears of new executive orders or trans in sports drama or some Project 2025 thing, I don't want to be the punching bag for it. I would Anne Frank him in my attic if I had to. I do not associate with any political party. I tend to be anti-government if anything. In my heart, I know what's right, and I've always stayed true. I've always supported the LGBT+ community. So why am I the one that constantly takes the lashing from him? He always follows the barrage of accusations with profuse apologies that I'm doing nothing wrong, etc. But truthfully, I wish he never told me. We were the best of friends, and now there is nothing but tension and fear. I don't want to be around him anymore. I don't want to talk to him anymore. I am not a bad person. I have never carried hate in my heart, except for pedophiles, rapists, Nazis, you know the type. That so often he makes me feel like I've been wrong about myself. That somehow I do have a deep flaw within myself that I'm unaware of. I never want to go through this again. I never want someone to come out to me again. I have been miserable, and although I thought this would be a beautiful thing for us, this has been an awful experience from the jump, and I'm done. Update. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for the support you've shown me. Many of you suggested he needs therapy. I agree. And a few months ago, I scoured our local resources to find him therapists that specialize with LGBT community. I sent him links as suggestions, and recently he has started seeing someone. Many of you also suggested I tell him what I have written here. Again, I have. I went to him before the internet, I promise. He just spiraled again after recent political events, and things got ugly for us again. This will be a long road where we either continue on together or go separate ways. Time will tell. Top comments. Comment 1. I had a friend that I was nice to, even though they kept being awful to me. One day I said, you know what, Jake, you're an asshole. I'm out. And I never spoke with him again. Let me tell you, that was one of the best decisions I ever made. A toxic friend is no better than a toxic partner. We should surround ourselves with people who uplift us and bring the best out of us. Commenter 2. He is abusing you when he lashes out at you and accuses you of being things that you are not, even if it is born out of his own insecurity. Next time it happens, you need to call it out, and if he can't find a healthier outlet, maybe you can't be his friend. If that's the way it goes, you're going to have to be okay with him potentially lashing out at you again in hopes that you'll defend yourself and be drawn back in. You have to let go of what he thinks of you and be secure in what you think of you. Commenter 3. It sounds like your friend is wrestling with some deep insecurities about who he is and how others see him. That kind of struggle can sometimes spill over into your relationship, making it feel like he's projecting his fears of rejection or judgment onto you. It's probably not really about you, but more about him having a hard time working through these feelings and fully trusting the support you've shown him. You have clearly been a good and true friend, but no friendship should come at the expense of your own well-being. You could try saying something like this to him. I've been wanting to talk to you about something important because I really value our friendship. You mean a lot to me and I want to be there for you, but lately I've been feeling overwhelmed. It seems like I'm always trying to reassure you, and no matter what I say or do, it doesn't seem to ease your worries. I've always supported you, and that hasn't changed, but I'm starting to feel like the weight of everything is falling too much on me. I think it might really help to have someone like a therapist or support group who can help you work through some of the deeper things you're dealing with. I'll always be here as your friend, but I also need to make sure I'm taking care of my own emotional well-being. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I want us to move forward in a way that feels good for both of us. Commenter 4. I had a similar experience. My friend was so insecure and had some deep-rooted hatred of himself, and sometimes that would come out. I started to feel like I was walking on eggshells. I also felt like I couldn't break things off because it would reconfirm his beliefs of one day everyone who finds out about this will leave me, which I obviously didn't want. I stayed in that friendship so long. One day he told me he didn't want to be friends anymore. I was hurt, surprised, but deep down I was relieved to have this mental load off my shoulders. Sorry to make this about me. I have no advice for you. It's a really tough situation you are in. I empathize with you. If you need to end the friendship, no one is blaming you. Tell him you are not ending the friendship because of his personal interest, what sexual orientation he wants to be. You are ending it because his own self-hatred is sabotaging this friendship, and you can't handle being his scapegoat for his own hatred anymore. Tell him he has to learn to accept himself, get therapy, and work on his self-esteem and self-confidence and self-acceptance. This inner hatred is going to sabotage any real future friendships.